Well, today I'm going to talk about the constitutional crisis that is sweeping across the country. I think we've all seen this. We watch these politicians take their oath of office. They take an allegiance and an oath to our Constitution, our state, and our U.S. Constitution. But people just don't take this seriously anymore. And that's unfortunate because I'm a constitutional conservative. I believe that the role of government should be strict, it should be limited, that we are best when we are left alone to manage our own affairs, instead of listening to government bureaucrats telling us what they think is best for us to do. I strongly believe that when you're willing to give up a little bit of your liberty in order for the promise of security, you end up with neither. And off the top of my head, I can't remember who said that. I guess I should have looked it up before I tried to quote it. But we're seeing that happen right now with this heavy-handed COVID crisis, I guess if you want to call it, even though there's a 99.9% survival rate. And the studies show that the faster we develop herd immunity as a population, the death rate for even the most vulnerable comes down. But you don't see people actually talking about the science. In fact, our own governor, he has stopped reporting through our Department of Health. They don't even report how many people are in the hospital anymore. All they want to talk about is cases. Cases, cases, cases. Well, when you test more people, you get more cases. So people don't want to talk about drilling into these numbers and how many hospitalizations there are. And now our state government has gotten so scared of just giving us the information, they don't give it to us at all anymore, at least in a meaningful way. So this constitutional crisis that we see happening, I got to tell you this. There's this organization. I've talked about this organization quite a bit over the last 3 years. It's the Legislative Evaluation Assembly. It's an organization here in Minnesota. It's completely nonpartisan. They don't care about Republicans, Democrats. All they care about is adherence to our founding principles. So I've got their latest scorecard. It came out just a couple weeks ago, actually. And I'll read this to you. This is their credo. The Legislative Evaluation Assembly of Minnesota is a nonpartisan and nonprofit organization established to inform the citizens of Minnesota of both important legislation and the voting performance of each Minnesota state legislator. LEA bases its evaluation on our declared American founding principles of self-evident truths and inalienable rights. These principles provide a basis for a constitutionally limited government established to sustain life, liberty, property rights, justice, and free enterprise. LEA encourages the use of the material in its reports in whole or in part with attribution by any group or individual. So, that's, you can give that a read. This is available online. You can go to lea-mn.org. And what they do every time they release their report is they have their latest honorees. And here you can see for 2020, they had 4 honorees that range in score between 97% and 94%. And that means 97% of the time they voted in alignment with our founding principles. The principles that have set up this great nation and allow us to say there is a such thing as American exceptionalism when we adhere to these principles. It's made us the greatest nation in the world. And I don't think, some friends of ours on the left would totally disagree with that, but we know that they're off their rocker. So when you look at this, you see Steve Drazkowski, 97%. Well, I'm blessed to say Steve Drazkowski is outside right now door knocking for me. Jeremy Munson, 94%. Jeremy Munson, one of the other 4 nominees or honorees, he was out door knocking for me yesterday. So half of the 2020 most constitutional conservatives, and you can even remove conservative, but the constitutionalists have been out door knocking for me this weekend. And notice, I want to show this again, notice there's 4, okay? And then they've got a honorable mention over here, so I'll make sure to call that out. But they're honorees, 4 of them. Now, I met the person who leads this organization a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, hey, if you had, because there's 201 legislators, at the Capitol between the State House, State Senate. There's 201. I asked him, what if all 201 had, say, a 95% score? Would you have all 201 listed out as honorees? And he said, absolutely. He would love nothing more than that. But the reality is we are left with 4. 4 out of 201. That math is pretty easy. That's 2%. In fact, it's a little less than 2%. That is a constitutional crisis we have in Minnesota. We have very few adults that are willing to take their oath to our Constitution seriously. Now, it begs the question, and I hope you all are begging the question and saying, Eric, well, what is Brad Tabke's scorecard? Well, let me tell you. Let's dive in. I know it off the top of my head, but I want to show it to you. Here is the House. And let's find the page. Here we go. Brad Tabke, District 55A, Democrat. Lifetime score. His lifetime score, you probably can't see it. I'll show it to you anyway like this. His lifetime score, 15%. 15, that's 1-5. That means 85% of the time he votes unconstitutionally. 85% of the time he ignores his oath to office and votes unconstitutionally. Now, we're in a hyper-partisan world, and I get that, but I'd like to think if you're really at the Capitol and you're trying to do what's best, I think most people would say, can you just take your oath to office seriously and just represent and vote in alignment with our founding principles that have made us this great nation and adhere to our state and U.S. Constitution? But he has failed to do so in a big way. I mean, 85% of the time. And it's funny because when you look at the Democrat leadership, they're right there with him. I mean, his voting record matches theirs perfect. It just goes to show he's not there for us. He's there for his political career. And I can't help but notice, I saw something today that some of his supporters are saying, I'm just negative. And I've given this a ton of thought over the years. And the best analogy I can come up with, although I'm not on par with this historical figure at all, and I'm not claiming to be, but I can't help but feel like there's no way on earth, right? 250-ish years ago, when Paul Revere was making his ride and saying, the British are coming, the British are coming, the Redcoats are coming, was anybody just saying, he's just being negative? That's how I feel. I feel like I'm calling out this person for being anti-American. His voting record is clear-cut. This isn't a partisan organization. He votes against our founding principles 85% of the time, but then they just try to call me negative when I call them out for it. Well, voting records are fair game. I think everybody would agree with that. And when a voting record does not reflect our American values, our American ideals that have been around for 250 years, it just goes to show he is fundamentally trying to change who we are. And I don't think most people are ready for that. So people can say what they like, that's fine. As far as if I'm being negative or not, I frankly don't care. Because I feel like I'm just trying to spread awareness that there are people out there that are trying to diminish who we are and change what America stands for. And that gets to the heart of why I'm running. Protecting the American dream. Protect the ideas of limited government, fiscal responsibility, self-determination, being able to decide where you want to go with your life and build a better quality of life for yourself. And that doesn't mean protecting the rich, but that does mean protecting the ability to become rich. And that's where I stand. So if you stand with me on that, go to mortforhouse.com. You can make a contribution there. There's only 9 days left. That's it. 9 days and this is all over. So go to mortforhouse.com. You can make a contribution there. You can come out door knocking. We're probably going to switch gears and do more lit dropping here, which is a lot faster. So that tends to get a lot more people involved because some people are just scared to talk to strangers, and I get it. It can be a little intimidating. But go to mortforhouse.com, sign up. Let's go door knocking. Let's finish this thing strong, everybody. And like yesterday, we had 25 people outdoor knocking. 25 people. We knocked on about 1,600 doors yesterday alone. And if we can do that here every day, the last 9 days, boy, things are going to look really good come election night on November 3rd. So thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll see you out there.